Sri Lanka Insurance Minimutu education plans ensure a secure future for your child with a higher education fund, comprehensive protection and a range of additional covers.
In a few moments, the news.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President says world countries need a new agricultural revolution that is not against the nature. Environment Minister says systematic geochemical mapping program planned. Northern fishermen leaders meet with Indian envoy. Daily count of coronavirus cases climbed to 566 yesterday, 17 deaths reported. Sri Lanka Podujana Permuna SLPP's 5th anniversary falls today. Australia eases international border restrictions for the first time in pandemic. Local news in detail now. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has emphasized the imperative need for a new agricultural revolution that is not against nature and pointed out that people should coexist with nature rather than act against it. The President made these remarks addressing a special conference organized by Sri Lanka on the sidelines of United Nations Climate Change Conference COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland, under the theme Rediscovering Nitrogen Solutions and Synergies for Climate Change, Health, Biodiversity and Circular Economy. The conference was held on the 31st at 5 p.m. in Scotland time, the President's media division said. My government's policy framework emphasizes sustainability. This is reflected in Sri Lanka's ambitious, updated, nationally determined contribution to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC mechanism, President Rajapaksa said. The President also stated the challenges facing us now is to use modern scientific techniques and practices to enhance agricultural production without causing environmental degradation. For decades, chronic disease, kidney disease has been a serious issue in Sri Lanka's agricultural heartland. The overuse of chemical fertilizer has contributed significantly to this problem, the President said, adding in this context that this government took firm steps to reduce imports of chemical fertilizer and strongly encourage organic agriculture. Although this action has been broadly appreciated, it has also met with some criticism and resistance. In addition to chemical fertilizer lobby groups, this resistance has come from farmers who have grown accustomed to overusing fertilizer as an easy means of increasing yields, the President said. This is particularly unfortunate considering Sri Lanka's rich agricultural heritage, the President added. The President said Sri Lanka's progressive agenda on the environment is being implemented despite the resource constraint it faces as a developing nation and pointed out that sustaining such an agenda alongside development programs is challenging for all developing nations, especially following the pandemic. Environment Minister Mahinda Amaraweera has instructed the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau to implement a program to prepare a systematic geochemical mapping program to cover all parts of the island. The minister said that this program should be implemented with the objective of making effective use of land resources in the establishment of agriculture and other industrial production factories. The GSMB had previously implemented this program in only a few areas, but the program was not properly implemented. Therefore, the minister said that this program should be restarted in order to identify the chemical conditions present in the soil layers of the respective areas in support of the organic farming program initiated by the government. Systematic geochemical mapping is the best way to document changes in the levels of chemical elements in the Earth's crust or below, such as rocks, soil, soil, rivers and stream sediments, stream groundwater and vegetation. Geochemical mapping can also be used to study the geochemical features of the soil, mineral exploration, environmental monitoring, agricultural research, and the study of geological hazards that may have an impact on health. The Indian High Commissioner in Colombo on Monday assured Sri Lanka's northern fishermen that he would convey their concerns over bottom trawling by Indian fishermen in the Pork Strait to both New Delhi and Tamil Nadu and look at some immediate measures to address the problem. A delegation of fishermen leaders from Sri Lanka's northern districts, along with Jaffna legislator M.A. Sumandiran, met the Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle in Colombo yesterday and voiced concerns over the delay in India's response to the issue of bottom trawling in the Pork Strait, The Hindu reported. The meeting was consequent to a recent discussion held when High Commissioner Bagle called on Tamil National Alliance TNA leader R. Sambandhan last week, according to TNA spokesman Mr. Sumandran, who was also at the meeting. The fisher community leaders recalled that the Indian side had agreed twice in 2010 and 2016 to phase out and end the practice of bottom trawling. But it has not ended yet, the Jaffna MP told The Hindu after yesterday's meeting. The Health Ministry says that another 158 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday, increasing the daily count of new cases to 566 within the day. The 158 new cases includes 2 returnees from overseas, according to the Government Information Department. The total number of coronavirus cases registered in the country increases to 541,639 with this. The SLPP Media Centre yesterday said a limited number of party representatives will take part in the anniversary celebrations today due to the pandemic situation in the country under the theme of Abhimanen Saubhagya Kala. Founder of the party and Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa had cancelled a series of programs to mark the party's 4th anniversary last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation in the country. Accordingly, programs which were scheduled to be held by the organisations affiliated to the SLPP were also cancelled. Minister Basil Rajapaksa has given specific instructions to hold the ceremony to mark the party's 5th anniversary in compliance with the COVID-19 guidelines as the country is returning to normal with the relaxation of travel restrictions. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
Australia eased its international border restrictions on Monday for the first time during the coronavirus pandemic, allowing some of its vaccinated public to travel freely and many families to reunite, sparking emotional embraces at the airports. After more than 18 months of some of the world's strictest coronavirus border policies, millions of Australians are now free to travel without a permit or the need to quarantine on arrival in the country. While travel is initially limited to Australian citizens, permanent residents and their immediate families, it sets in motion a plan to reopen the country to international tourists and workers, both much needed to reinvigorate a fatigued nation. Passengers on the first flights from Singapore and Los Angeles arrived in Sydney early in the morning, many greeted by tearful friends and relatives they had not seen for several months. Travellers were also welcomed by airline staff holding banners and were gifted Australian wildflowers and chocolate biscuits. Minister Udaya Gammanpila rejected the claim of certain media that there is no internal discussion to criticise the government. The minister also reiterated he does not have any idea of leaving the government. The minister said that he is focusing his attention on improving the energy sources to increase the power production of the country. As a first step of this venture, the minister plans to attract more investments to this venture. The minister also focused on alternative energy sources and renewable energy sources to improve the production. And that ends local news for now.
Just as love and freedom are important to a child, so too is knowledge. Encouraging their pursuit of knowledge is our most important responsibility as parents.
Sri Lanka Insurance Minimutu education plans ensure a secure future for your child with a higher education fund, comprehensive protection and a range of additional covers. Minimutu education plans for children who dare to dream. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
A compost fertilizer mechanism has been introduced by Välimäärä Pradeshya Sabha for the benefit of the local farmers. Accordingly, 1,500 kilograms of compost fertilizer can be produced from this site. Chairman of the Välimäärä Pradeshya Sabha, S.A.R. Bandusena, said this amount will meet the local requirement of the farmers in the area. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
This is Watchlight.
Health authorities have requested the public to follow health guidelines strictly. Director General of the Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena said that it is a high risk for the public to attend any crowded functions or meetings. He requested the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He pointed out that 500 to 600 corona patients are still being reported daily from the country. Therefore, he emphasised that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public act irresponsibly. And that was Watchlight.
Coming up, world news.
In the headlines, COVID-19 news, single case shuts down Shanghai Disneyland. Fishing row, France delays sanctions as talks over access continue. COP26 summit update, India PM pledges net zero by 2070. World news in detail now. France will delay retaliatory measures against the UK while talks over post-Brexit fishing rights continue, Emmanuel Macron has said. Paris had threatened to block British fishing boats from its ports from midnight in a row over the licensing of French fishing boats. But the French president told reporters the sanctions would be put off as talks between officials continue. The UK said it welcomed the move and would continue intensive discussions. Shanghai Disneyland has shut down for at least 2 days after a weekend visitor tested positive for COVID-19 after returning home. The Chinese theme park will be closed on Monday and Tuesday, and all visitors and staff are being tested. Health workers in protective suits examined them as fireworks went off around the park's landmark castle. China hopes to reach zero infections before it hosts the Winter Olympics, which begins in February. India has promised to cut its emissions to net zero by 2070, missing a key goal of the COP26 summit for countries to commit to reach that target by 2050. Prime Minister Narendra Modi made the pledge the first time India has set a net zero target at the Glasgow summit. Net zero, or becoming carbon neutral, means not adding to the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Back to the headlines of the world news. COVID-19, single case shuts down Shanghai Disneyland. Fishing row, France delays sanctions as talks over access continue. COP26 summit update, India PM pledges net zero by 2070. And that ends world news.
Development news.
Air Astana will launch scheduled services between Almaty and Colombo on December 3rd, 2021. The twice-weekly service will be operated with A321LR long-range aircraft on Tuesdays and Fridays. Departure from Almaty will be at 5:30 and arrival in Colombo at 11:30, with a return flight from Colombo departing at 12:30 and arriving back in Almaty at 19:40. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
England beat Sri Lanka by 26 runs in another World T20 match played at Sharjah Cricket Grounds yesterday. Batting first, England made 163 for 4. In reply, Sri Lanka were bowled out for 137. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Pan Asia Banking Corporation plc reported an impressive performance for the 9 months period ended 30th September 2021 to report a pre-tax profit of 2,718 million rupees and a post-tax profit of 2,008 million, with growth rates of 46% and 61% respectively, while demonstrating the resilience amid challenging macroeconomic conditions. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
In economic news, the Sri Lanka government allocated 3.8 billion rupees in August 2021 to purchase organic fertilizer from local producers in a drive to switch the nation to organic fertilizers. In 2020, the Sri Lanka's government has spent 0.24% of GDP on its fertilizer subsidy program, which is a long-standing policy to provide low-cost fertilizer to boost agricultural productivity in the country, according to publicfinance.lk. And that was economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
In the weather report, the Met Department says a low-pressure area is still persistent in the vicinity of Sri Lanka. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northern provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere, particularly during the evening or at night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern, central and North Central provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporarily localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. This weather report was published this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the International Weather Forecast website, AccuWeather.com, reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature would be around 29 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 24 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 25 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The Air Quality Index, AQI, is 18, which shows fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. And that was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
And to end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. The President says world countries need a new agricultural revolution that is not against the nature. Environment Minister says systematic geochemical mapping program planned. Northern fishermen leaders meet with the Indian envoy. Daily count of new coronavirus cases climbed to 566 yesterday, 17 deaths reported. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna SLPP's 5th anniversary falls today. Australia eases international border restrictions for the first time in pandemic. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast and back to Sound the Thumb.